Greetings and various assorted salutations. This is a new unit tour for U.S. History 3. We are getting into our third unit of this course, the Cold War. So first off, right off the bat, we're in modules here. We're going to shrink World War II in America, 1942 to 1945 Part 2, because, well, we're done with that unit. So moving on to the new unit here. There are some things being built still. The point values haven't been set for everything, so just be aware that there may be some minor changes. I'm just going to go over the basic tour, though. First order business, let's take a look at the unit checklist. Right off the bat, you're going to notice it's the same game as always. There's the unit test and virtual student notebook are due at the end. We wrap up this unit on November 11th. There's a few other things that'll be due a bit later, but we finish the unit formally on this date. But to talk a bit about a few things, there are new student choice assignments, new writing assignment activity to choose from, and you'll be handling that choice first right off the bat. And then we go into the same pattern of we look at the lecture quizzes, and the lecture quizzes are grounded in the virtual student notebook. So basically, this tells you by this unit, by this date, you should be have completed the beginnings of the Cold War lecture materials or court class materials, the Korean War, etc., etc. But this is the topic selector. This is probably one of the first things you'll do in the new unit after checking the checklist. And basically, this is where you will pick your writing assignment and where you will pick your student choice activity. There's a whole bunch of different interesting ones. I'll talk about them in class. So it's a nice little activity. You'll just choose your topics, and they'll be assigned in the days that follow. This is a new part of the course. I'm adding the stuff in class. At the beginning or sometimes at the end of class, we'll talk about different things about the time period we're studying. And I figured it'd be a good idea to dump this stuff in here and try and organize it. And so, basically you have the date here and the thing we talked about in class. What kind of stuff are we talking about? Well, the reason why I call it stuff is it's fairly open-ended. A lot of the times, we're going to be looking at some things in more detail, or maybe things that people have been asking questions about. So that's why it isn't fully written out, because I know what to do for the first day or so, but after that, it's a bit more open-ended, and it kind of comes out of what catches people's interests and the stories we tell. Next up is the virtual student notebook, the thing that you all know. It's right here. Do keep in mind you should only see this page once, and you should only make a copy for it once. Basically, it works much like the old ones. It's very similar in style. You can use it, you can jump around in the notebook. You've got several different sections, and remember that with each of these sections, they correspond to the resources you need to know and the terms you need to know for the various lecture quizzes. So by the time you get to the last lecture quiz, you should be set to turn things in. But it's fairly straightforward. As always, the lectures are located in the modules here. The first lecture I recommend watching is the New World Order lecture. And as always, you've got the lecture slides. The lecture script is here. There's also a direct link to all of the lecture videos in U.S. History 3 here. Just a reminder, if you can't get this to work, you can't get the YouTube link to work, you can access all the lectures in here under the Video Lecture Alternative Access. And that'll take you into a Google Drive folder, and you just find your corresponding correct lecture that you need. But no, materials on the Korean War are going to be located here. This is something, it's not quite done yet, but I will have a timeline thing that kind of goes over the Cold War to give you a big picture of all the events that are happening, because The Cold War covers pretty much the rest of our course, and so there's a nice little timeline I need to still put together. Deadlines are tight, getting things all caught up. This thing on MAD, this is another one of the lectures on the policies of nuclear policy. This thing here will help you better understand the space race. We've got some information and some videos here for you to view to get a better understanding of why we have things like NASA. One of the reasons is because missiles. This activity here, ideologies that drive conflict, is a fairly big assignment. You're going through a whole bunch of resources and then you're answering some questions using these resources. So the resources you're using are, there's 2 lectures, Americana lecture, 2 parts, which talks about what is it like to live in post-war America, the good and the bad. There's a little thing on what is capitalism, what is democracy. There's a lecture that I put together. It's actually from a world history lecture I gave originally on communism. And then we have an activity that looks at the Red Scare and helps you build an understanding of the witch hunt that the second Red Scare amounted to. These are the placeholders for your student choice assignment and writing assignment. They will be assigned separately, but so that students can choose different activities. Basically, you'll do the activity in a separate assignment. Let me show you like one of these things. But the gradebook will register it as student choice assignment. And the reason for that is because it allows me to have one assignment, but students can choose which one it is. Under optional things and things of interest, we have 200 hours of nuclear blast footage somewhere. Some stuff still in work there. And we also have some articles, because as always when I'm putting together these courses, I find a lot of different and interesting things, and I don't use everything, but I dump it in here. And some of the stuff we look at in class actually comes from here for fun. But anyways, the Cold War is a relatively short unit. We won't be really done with the Cold War technically when we finish the unit. We will just have introduced what it is and how it hangs in the background as we continue through the other units of this course. Hopefully this video helps. If you need to rewatch it, it's a great tour of what you're getting yourself into. I hope this helps, and until later.